try and film this one-handed. I'm doing some experiments in my work shed with my transmitter, and I have it set up in high power mode, which means I have it tuned so I get wireless power, and I have this tuning inductance which can run a bright halogen load, kind of a Don Smith spin-off, and I'm pretty sure this output is much higher than the input. So not only can I do that while having well-tuned wireless power, I can also still get the ground power effect. This is just a metal rod in the dirt, and I still get the ground power effect when it makes good contact. There we go. So the earth definitely is playing a role in getting energy. As you can see, that lights up here. I'm thinking I want to create something similar to the Moray valve with special type of diodes and solid state semiconductors, maybe using crystal oscillators too, some kind of negative resistance oscillator. And I'm thinking I'll make an antenna at a multiple of the wavelength the transmitter is kicking off. Not too big of an antenna, maybe like less than 100 feet in a circle, maybe in the air, and it should be able to suck charge out of the air and run bigger loads. It's just a theory. Also made this wireless chain of lights. You can see how it looks. There's a special way you can connect them up where you lower the resistance and you can light more wireless loads with no degradation to your transmitter. The loads that run don't impact the transmitter's power consumption. So I'll connect this to here, and look at that, all that ground power. And I'm in my off-grid solar shed, so there's no grid connection here. I have artificially made power from a sine wave inverter and my solar panels that are on the roof. So this is being run by grid-tied solar during the day. It's all true clean energy, and I'm consuming a little on the high side. Transmitter's consuming 63 watts, and I can get it to become extremely efficient when I disconnect the load. So as you see, this is my raw output. So load is connected. It's giving off a lot of heat, by the way. Load connected, consuming 62 watts. Load disconnected, consuming 50. And the reason for it consuming so much power is this variable inductor, I think, is discharging into this antenna, as you can see. And I think that's what's consuming the power, not the fact that the load is running. That's my hunch. I'll show that it can run a big halogen bulb. 150 watt halogen. I can focus on it. 150 watt halogen. Right there. And I run it at about 80% power. Everything gets in the way when I film one-handed. So yeah, that runs no problem. I still have wireless power. I still have the earth ground power effects. It's come to a point where the transmitter can run anything. Consuming 58 watts running the halogen. I'll disconnect the halogen. Now we're only consuming 50. So as you can see, something isn't quite adding up. It only cost me 4 watts. And I can run a halogen to almost full intensity. Well, that should tell you there's an interesting effect occurring. So halogen is on, consuming 58.6 watts. I disconnect the halogen. Consuming 52. So it cost me less than 5 watts to run a halogen to almost full intensity. This is my breakthrough video. It's almost at the point where it's self-looped, waiting on some exotic components to come in. Just been very, very ridiculously busy with work lately. Pretty much been working extremely long hours to pay the bills. In case anyone hasn't noticed, in the United States, almost everyone's electricity bill tripled for no reason other than just corporate greed. So that's been fun. And yeah, we still got wireless power. And what I'm going to do, so basically what's running the load is my variable inductance here and the antenna. And it's very noticeable when I connect this bigger light to it. I think this is a 200 watt light. So I'll connect this bulb to it. Like I said, it was a breakthrough, and that's very hot. So that is being run. Let's get this all in frame so you can see it. As you see, I tune the inductance of the device. The bulb will either get brighter or dimmer. This is just an air core amps wound coil, which I'll show a picture of. Still have wireless power, very bright. Assuming that this bulb for some reason consumes more power than the halogen and doesn't give off quite as much heat, which is very interesting. So I'm going to disconnect the receiving devices and show you the other discovery I made with power efficiency. So I am removing the receiver device. Disconnect it. Set you over here. Bulb is dimly run from the antenna. I will disconnect and remove the antenna. The antenna is now completely disconnected. Moved off to the side. There's nothing in here, it's just a piece of plastic it was sitting on to avoid it touching ground and shorting out. And I will move this just so no one can say anything weird. So now we have extremely efficient wireless power. And I'll show you the breakthrough I had. It occurred at around medium power levels with extremely good efficiency. And it was very noticeable in my room. So, transmitter is consuming less than 8.6 watts. And I say that because just having the power supply idling, it consumes 2.5. Nothing is connected. So we have to subtract that from our reading, 2.4 watts, 2.5. So the transmitter is consuming 8.9 watts minus 2.5, which is like 5 or 6 watts, or 7, and I have wireless power at incredible range. I still have the ground power effects at very impressive levels. And when these effects occur, there is no increased load on the transmitter. That was the other discovery. Check that out. Not sure if you see that dimly lighting up. Probably because I'm at such a low power you can hardly see it. Touch it to this, it'll probably light. So it's the earth that's running your load. And this is where the power efficiency occurred. So consuming 8.9 watts from the supply, barely any power. And I'll show you that my wireless power improved. Whoops, I'm dropping stuff. So this right here that I connected to my transmitter is a tuned LC circuit, just an inductor and a capacitor, and it's connected just with alligator leads to my primary coil, and that increased my wireless power range. As you can see, look at that. I disconnected it, disconnected, connected. My wireless power range gets better with that. My wireless power range got better, and my power consumption reduced. So figure that out. There's some type of negative resistance occurring in my circuitry. So I will disconnect the secondary oscillator. Wireless power gets a little worse, and we consume more power. We consume 9.2, 9.3, consuming more current from the supply. I hook up the secondary oscillator. Wireless power will increase. Wireless power has increased. Current consumption has dropped a little bit, and it's very noticeable around the 15 to 16 volt area. Power consumption has dropped. I'll turn it up to medium settings now. I think it was really noticeable around 13 volts. Okay, 13 volts, consuming half an amp, 12.4 watts. I will disconnect the secondary LC circuit. Wireless power gets worse. See? Better, worse. Better, worse. Better, worse. So we are disconnected. I am now consuming more power. 13.3 watts. I will connect. Wireless power gets better. When I connect to the secondary oscillator, I consume less power. And yeah, that was the other efficiency I discovered. And I think having a quartz crystal oscillator in parallel with that too would help. That has to be the right frequency, which might be a little tricky to get, but it should be around. Very impressive ground power effects. So not only can I run very impressive halogen loads with my special antenna and inductance tuning circuit over here, which is extremely simple. It's a rectifier coming off an antenna with a tunable inductance amps coil. Can't get any simpler. It just slides in and out of the inside of the transmitter. And the other interesting thing I discovered is I can make indefinite lighting. So I can extend a wire from the negative of my supply when the transmitter's on. And I don't like using bright colors for negative, so I'm going to grab some white wires. It's cold out here, man. So I'm going to connect white wire. So as you see, this is just one wire. This transmitter creates wireless power and one wire power transmission. Like, can you see this? And I will connect this to this, and it will glow very bright. Like, look how bright that is. I put a rectifier on that in my room, and I was getting almost equal output power than what I was putting in. And it's literally just the difference in potential between the two negatives. How insane is that? And there's no drain on the system at all when doing that. Right, look at this. I can touch it too and it gets bright. This is real suppressed free energy research. They probably know all about it and have it perfected somewhere. Other interesting thing, I'll take these guys, the big ones, and check this out. Oh, I'm consuming 12.1 watts, by the way, which is virtually no power. And look at this. Might have to regrip it and make better contact. Hold on. Do everything one-handed. Ooh, it lit for a second. Something's not quite tuned. I'm connected to the wrong spot. Now, okay, there we go. Now it's lit. As you can see, one wire power transmission. I'm not happy with this video quality at all. There we go. I'm not sure what else I should show. I showed that I can run big big resistive loads with the antenna receiver. I showed that I can extend this wire indefinitely and have all the lighting I want. Very bright. I'll touch it directly to the earth. I have to extend the lead. You have to bear with me a second. So, extend the leads. Okay, leads are extended. Take my light now. Those are lighting up just from being near the wire. As you see, the wire goes. I bet if I touch it just to the plain dirt, it'll light up. Let's demonstrate this in the... Oh yeah, it lit up, I see it. Right to the plain dirt, look at that. Right to the plain dirt. Look at that. Look how impressive that is. Imagine if I did those experiments near a lake. My transmitter has very interesting effects from the earth ground. Bet you I can find a hot spot in the earth with massive amounts of energy that'll just come pouring out. Oh my god, look at that. Loves that. I'm gonna try and connect this one-handed, so bear with me. Okay, that's extremely bright. So it's running between the ground pole and the earth. I mean the negative of the DC supply. Assuming 12.3 watts. I'll disconnect it. Disconnected. Assuming 12.2, I'll connect it. Light is on, very bright. No change. And as you see, I can create unlimited light that way. And I bring this just next to the energized line and it will light. Like I said, my transmitter technology is remarkable. Check that out. Nuts, huh? Look at that. I don't like getting all this stuff dirty. Should have brought a fluorescent tube in here with me. So how much power is coming out of the ground right now that I'm extracting? I should throw a bridge rectifier on here and measure the output. This video is going on way too long. We'll see how far I can extend it. I'll grab some more leads. I'll put you right here while I extend it. Whoops. It's cold, my hands are shaking, I'm dropping shit. Yeah, that's what I was doing. This is just a lead that extends off the negative supply line of the transmitter. Lights up on anything metal or any object that's earthed. This is one wire power transmission. Whoa, it likes that. Holy shit, that's bright. Pretty sure that wire goes all the way to those earth pipes. Here's a metal rod I put in the ground a while ago. If it glows on that. That's weird, it's not going on that. Loves that. Seems to love steel. But it didn't glow on the iron. Maybe it just wasn't making good contact. This video is going on way too long. It glows when I touch it to the dirt. So yeah, the earth is literally an unlimited supply of energy when you have this type of transmitter. So I've been working on this transmitter for a little under 2 years now, and everything just keeps falling. Jesus Christ, man. Ugh. I need someone to film for me. All my friends are busy working. Incredible wireless range. And yeah, what's actually doing all the work and all the transmitting power is this extra coil here. And I'll really crank it and show you what it can do with interesting plasma effects in this light bulb. End it with some cool effects. I'll crank it. So it's consuming 36 watts now. We're really pumping out some energy. Look at that. Amazing plasma effects. When those effects occur, it does consume a little bit more power. All the wireless lights went nuts. Very intense plasma. Kind of cool. Looks kind of like an aurora borealis in there. So anyway, 30 volts to run the transmitter at a little under 1 amp, consuming 36.4 watts. I'll disconnect the secondary LC circuit. As you can see, it's sparking. It's sparking when I disconnect and reconnect. So now I consume 8 more watts, almost 9 more watts, without that secondary LC circuit. Connected it. Oh wait, no. It's like a 4-watt difference now. So it saves a little bit of power and increases the wireless power range. Like I said, it's really effective around low to medium power levels. Right around the 12 volt mark. Eventually this whole system will be self-looped. I don't know if it will be portable or not because you need a lot of earth ground connections. So 11.3 watts wireless power. Disconnect. Seems 12.1, 12.2. Connect the secondary LC circuit. We now consume less. I'll show you the reading when I disconnect the secondary LC circuit. Disconnected. Connected. Disconnected. Connected. So yeah, I'm getting cold. I showed some amazing effects with the transmitter that people who build regular Tesla coils the incorrect way don't show. And my device has no wasteful arc discharges, although it can be configured that way. But that would be wrong for what I'm doing, and that's not what you're supposed to do. You don't want wasteful arc discharges on your wireless power device. And yeah, I think I'm going to end the video here. So thank you everybody who supports my work, and stay tuned. Hopefully more breakthroughs will occur. I'm thinking of building another transmitter with much more exotic materials, like special oscillators, exotic components, doped wire that's like mildly radioactive. So mildly radioactive it's harmless unless you eat the unless you were to eat small chunks of the wire. I think that might help with the wireless power, not sure, because on Moray's device, I'm pretty sure he used mildly radioactive components. But I don't want to mess with anything dangerous. I'll probably just buy bismuth doped magnet wire and see where that gets me. It should do some kind of stimulation where it generates more power either by harvesting it from the environment or the earth, or it should be some kind of gain, but I'll have to find out. I just touch this, it gets brighter. Bet you if I touch this to the pole, it'll glow. Yeah, it does. Huh. Nice, huh? Earth is running it. Real forbidden Tesla technology that you aren't supposed to know about. And they say is impossible to work. Well, they're wrong and they're full of shit. It's called longitudinal pulsed DC. So yeah, thank you again, everyone, and hopefully more improvements keep coming, more upgrades, and stay tuned. Oh, and just anyone wants to see underneath it, absolutely nothing. So yeah, thank you again.